excerpt from Of Time in the River by Thomas Wolfe. Now October has come again, which in our land is different from October in the other lands. The ripe, the golden month has come again, and in Virginia, the chinkapins are falling. Frost sharps the middle music of the seasons, and all things living on the earth turn home again. The country is so big you cannot say the country has the same October. In Maine, the frost comes sharp and quick as driven nails. Just for a week or so, the woods, all of the bright and bitter leaves flare up. The maples turn a blazing bitter red, and other leaves turn yellow, like a living light, falling about you as you walk the woods, falling about you like small pieces of the sun, so that you cannot say where sunlight shakes and flutters on the ground, and where the leaves. Meanwhile, the palisades are melting in massed molten colors. The season swings along the nation, and a little later, in the south, dense woodings on the hill begin to glow and soften. And when they smell the burning wood smoke in Ohio, children say, "I'll bet there's a forest fire in Michigan." And the mountaineer goes hunting down in North Carolina. He stays out late with the mournful flop-eared hounds. A rind of moon comes up across the rude lift of the hills. What do his friends say to him when he stays out late? Full of hoarse innocence and laughter, they will say, "Mister, your old woman's going to whoop ye if ye don't get home." Oh, return, return. October is the richest of the seasons. The fields are cut, the granaries are full, the bins are loaded to the brim with fatness, and from the cider press, the rich brown oozings of the York Imperials run. The bees bore to the belly of the yellowed grape. The fly gets old and fat and blue. He buzzes loud, crawls slow, creeps heavily to death on sill and ceiling. The sun goes down in blood and pollen across the bronzed and mown fields of old October. The corn is shocked. It sticks out in hard yellow rows upon dried ears, fit now for great red barns in Pennsylvania, and the big stained teeth of crunching horses. The indolent hooves kick swiftly at the boards. The barn is sweet with hay and leather, wood and apples. This and the clean, dry crunching of the teeth is all. The sweat, the labor, and the plow are over. The late pears mellow on a sunny shelf. Smoked hams hang to the warped barn rafters. The pantry shelves are loaded with 300 jars of fruit. Meanwhile, the leaves are turning. Up in Maine, the chestnut burrs plop thickly to the earth in gusts of wind, and in Virginia, the chinkapins are falling. There's a smell of burning in small towns in afternoon, and men with buckles on their arms are raking leaves in yards as boys come by with straps slung back across their shoulders. The oak leaves, big and brown, are bedded deep in yard and gutter. They make deep wadings to the knee for children in the streets. The fire will snap and crackle like a whip. Sharp, acrid smoke will sting the eyes. In mown fields, the little vipers of the flame eat past the black coarse edges of burned stubble like a line of locusts. Fire drives a thorn of memory in the heart. The bladed grass, a forest of small spears of ice, is thawed by noon. Summer is over, but the sun is warm again, And there are days throughout the land of gold and russet. But summer's dead and gone. The earth is waiting. Suspense and ecstasy are gnawing at the hearts of men. The brooding prescience of frost is there. The sun flames red and bloody as it sets. There are old red glintings on the battered pails. The great barn gets the ancient light as the boy slops homeward with warm foaming milk. Great shadows lengthen in the fields. The old red light dies swiftly, and the sunset barking of the hounds is faint and far and full of frost. There are shrewd whistles to the dogs, and frost and silence. This is all. Wind stirs and scuffs and rattles up the old brown leaves, and through the night the great oak leaves keep falling. Trains cross the continent in a swirl of dust and thunder. The leaves fly down the tracks behind them. The great trains cleave through gulch and gully. They rumble with spoked thunder on the bridges over the powerful brown wash of mighty rivers. They toil through hills. They skirt the rough brown stubble of shorn fields. They whip past empty stations in the little towns, and their great stride pounds its even pulse across America. Field and hill and lift and gulch and hollow, mountain and plain and river, a wilderness with fallen trees across it, a thicket of bedded brown and twisted undergrowth, a plain, a desert, and a plantation. A mighty landscape with no fenced niceness, an immensity of fold and convolution that can never be remembered, that can never be forgotten, that has never been described. Weary with harvest, potent with every fruit and ore, the immeasurable richness embrowned with autumn, rank, crude, unharnessed, careless of scars or beauty, everlasting and magnificent. A cry, a space, an ecstasy. American earth in old October. And the great winds howl and swoop across the land. They make a distant roaring in great trees. And boys in beds will stir in ecstasy, thinking of demons and vast swoopings through the earth. All through the night, there is the clean, the bitter rain of acorns, and the chestnut burrs are plopping to the ground. And often, in the night, there is only the living silence, the distant frosty barking of a dog, the small clumsy stir and feathery stumble of the chickens on limed roosts, and the moon, the low and heavy moon of autumn, now barred behind the leafless poles of pines, now at the pine wood's brooding edge and summit, now falling with ghost's dawn of milky light upon rimed clods of fields and on the frosty scurf on pumpkins, now wider, smaller, brighter, hanging against the steeple slope, hanging the same way in a million streets, steeping all the earth in frost and silence. Then a chime of frost-cold bells may peal out on the brooding air, and people lying in their beds will listen. They will not speak or stir. Silence will know the darkness like a rat, but they will whisper in their hearts, summer has come and gone, has come and gone, and now? But they will say no more. They will have no more to say. They will wait, listening, silent and brooding as the frost to time. Strange, ticking time, dark time that haunts us with the briefness of our days. They will think of men long dead, of men now buried in the earth, of frost and silence long ago, of a forgotten face and moment of lost time, and they will think of things they have no words to utter.